Welcome to the Muscle Expert Podcast with Ben Pakulski, one of the world's top professional bodybuilders, an expert on human performance and mindset mastery. Ben dives deep to deliver the strategies of the top experts to upgrade your body, mind, muscle, strength, performance, biochemistry, and how to become the upgraded modern man. Join us on benpakulski.com to learn the cutting-edge techniques to take control of your body, your brain, and create your greatest life.
What's up, boys and girls? Ben Pakulski, Muscle Expert Podcast. Stop what you're doing. Get a pen and paper. This one's going to blow your mind. And I know a lot of you like to listen to this on 1.5 speed or 2, but I highly suggest you slow it down to 1 because Dr. Serrano is going to blow your mind. There's probably 30 things in here that I learned that I didn't know before. And you're going to listen to him and want to listen again and want to listen on repeat because if you want to understand how to optimize your body composition, your hormones, your gut, this guy gets into the weeds with understanding this stuff and does it in a way that is easy to understand and extremely passionate. I'm so grateful for Dr. Serrano. Definitely the most informative educational podcast that I've ever heard or been a part of. So take out a pen and paper. Don't listen to this while you're driving, or if you do, you're going to want to listen to it again. But I highly recommend you pay attention, turn off all distractions, and get into this one. So enjoy. And if you love it and you want to hear Dr. Serrano again, which he told me he's coming back already, go ahead and leave me a review and subscribe on iTunes. And I would really appreciate it if you guys share, because that's how this thing grows. And we got to spread the word of intelligent muscle building around the world. Have an awesome day, guys. Peace and love. Enjoy the episode. So one of the things that I think, at least I know you for most, I mean, you're obviously known for a lot of things around muscle building, but particularly around hormone optimization. Is that something you feel comfortable talking about?
Absolutely. Whatever you want to talk about. If I can't answer, I'll tell you I don't know shit about it. Like I told you, I don't know shit about computer. So absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So, moving on to that, like bodybuilding is something that I think, I say all the time is 30 years behind the times. Like we're still living in the 80s and people need to realize there's more data, there's more scientific research. There's a better way to approach this entire process of, optimizing your body composition from muscle building to fat loss and hormone optimization. So what are the main things you're seeing that people are doing wrong in your exposure to bodybuilding and fitness in general?
Oh, Ben, you're going to hate this one.
I'm going to love it.
First of all, I want to say I have a lot of friends that are bodybuilders,
yep.
and I have a lot of patients, although I hate them sometimes, but that's part of the business.
Yeah.
One of the things that I see, and actually most anti-aging medicines are picking this up, when the bodybuilders were taking when they take steroids, mm-hmm. they take anti-estrogens, thinking that is the best way to do it. And you know what, Ben? I'm going to talk about some extreme cases here because I see it all in my office. For example, I saw a guy, and I'm not making this up, 20,000 milligrams, 20,000 of testosterone per week.
What? Okay. How do you even put that in your body?
I had no idea, but he can make it himself. I mean, he was crazy.
Wow.
So they come with taking anti-estrogens because they want to keep their estrogens the lowest as possible.
Right.
And the problem with that is that they have no idea how the body works. And I want to explain something here because it had never been explained. Testosterone goes to estrogen, or 1% of the total testosterone is converted to estrogen. Okay. 5% is converted to DHT.
Yep.
So here comes the smart guys. I'm going to block estrogen. So where does estrogen has to go? I mean, testosterone. It has to go somewhere, and that is to DHT or the other metabolites. And when you go to DHT, what happens to you? You start getting hairy. You start getting bald.
Yes.
And they don't see it, but they keep coming. Oh, I'm blocking estrogen. Well, what happens is yes, you're getting side effects of estrogen because you're taking too much. So, right. And when you combine all of those, absolutely you have to block the estrogen. But once you go into normal levels or physiological levels, then you don't need to block your estrogen. You have to change some testosterone to estrogen. And the lower your estrogen, the worse it is your mortality, the worse is your morbidity or disease or death, okay? And I tried to make them understand that, but they still have, oh no, I read this and that, and I said, oh, I have the real research. I skimmed through the research. I learn it. I go to conference and I hear them talk, and then I leave laughing because, for example, another one is lowering SHBG. And I'm sure you heard this, lower SHBG. Well, do you know that if you follow the literature, the people with the lower SHBG die quickest and the soonest. Also, not only that, the most powerful SHBG lowering agent is insulin. And the higher your insulin, the lower your SHBG. Well, the higher the insulin, the worse your health is. So all these little points that I'm pointing out to you is things that they don't look at. And remember, bodybuilding is about looks, not about my health. Mm-hmm. And as I get older, I said, man, health first, then looks later. Because as you get older, doesn't matter what drug you use, you're going to get old. I don't care what you do.
We need to convey that message to the population of the world, because ultimately, the look is important to everybody, but the realization is you can have both if you learn how to do it with an intelligent approach.
Well, how can I deliver that message? That is tough. The only time that I can deliver the message is when somebody comes in and say, I screw up. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling really bad. What do I do next? When they see the end of the rope, and that's when they have to restart all again. I'm trying to educate. I'm actually teaching a course called the ICANS. And in that course, it's a 3-day course. It's super intense. I mean, we started doing it to trainers and we started doing it to coaches, but then we start having physicians now taking it because it goes from the gut to the hormones to everything, how to read blood tests, how to read urine tests. I wanted to inform the community. And most people say, you're giving out your secrets. No, I don't have secrets. I didn't invent anything. God invented everybody. I'm just trying to use what God gave me. And what I'm trying to do is, hey, I'm going to give you the information so you can read it, learn it. Then if you have questions, you can come back to me and I will tell you what you need. It bothers me that people are always trying to, improve what we have. And we can improve some, but we cannot delay aging. It's crazy. And if we don't change the way we are, we're going to see more death on bodybuilding. Yep. We're going to see more side effects. We're going to see, more damage to the community. Oh, absolutely. Yep. But they say, no, it's because he was taking this or taking that. And, it's kind of funny. Nothing against steroids, but steroids is not the biggest enemy. Actually, diuretics are the biggest enemy. Sure, or the other drugs, or insulin that can kill you in 5 seconds, So It's something that you have to watch out. What I do in my office, I have a pie in my office that I use for everybody. And the pie is divided in 4 sessions, Ben. One is gut, phase, okay? The second one is family. The third one is health. And the next one is economics. Yep. And I said, this pie is my personal pie. Of course, it doesn't have to be your pie. Now, family, the piece of the pie on the family side, I say, okay, that gets smaller because there are friends that are part of that family. So that pie gets a little smaller. Then in health, I divide that pie in half, and then you have diet or nutrition and exercise or fitness. And in the economic side, I divide that on half also, and I put job and education, because the better educated, usually the better job you can get. So I put my pie on the wall, and I say, okay, where are you lacking? That is, you have to look at it and fix it. And one thing that I want to tell you is the best strength coach is not the one that makes you stronger, but the one that fixes your weaknesses. And I don't care. I don't care how, I can bench 500. The guy makes me bench 500, but I can deadlift 400. Well, shit. He didn't make you any better. He just breaking the chain quicker. So for me, I look at that pie and then I make them understand. Now, one thing is on the family side pie, if you're married and you have children, then you're a husband, a friend, a lover, and a father. So, and if you're a mother, then it's a mother, a friend, a lover, and a wife. And I say all those things put together, you have to look at what you want to do with life. Now, again, some I would say bodybuilders are very, very selfish, as you know that. But, I try to make them see what I can. Now, my job is not to criticize or judge you, because God does better at that than I do, but to help you. And sometimes ignorance pisses me off. Stupidity really, really bothers me. but it is what it is.
Sure.
I just do what I can. But usually, I've been lucky enough that even though some of them, ultimately 80% of them get really mad at me, they always come back because they feel better.
Right.
So
people only see the world through the lens that they have, right? They only have the brain that they have. They can't see anything beyond that. So, it's our job to educate them, particularly your job, right? I mean, that's why you're so great at what you do is you take these people who are stupid, who are ignorant, to use your terms, and you offer this like, hey, I'm going to help you. And some of them are too stupid to see the opportunity, and some of them do. And that way you can change people's lives, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I want to bring this back to I want to bring it back to the conversation we had to begin with about people taking too much testosterone, blocking their estrogen DHT. Is there a solution? So obviously not taking 20 and any ridiculous amount. I don't even want to throw a number out there, but any ridiculous amount of testosterone. But would blocking DHT be a solution, or obviously we may not want to block SHBG. So what is it? Just taking less testosterone?
Absolutely, manipulating the levels better. You do not want to block DHT either, because the DHT blockers drugs have shown to increase the prostate cancer mortality and also make prostate cancer worse. Yep. Now, I have great papers that I will send you if Trevor or Ben lets me, of course. And you got to be very, very careful with that. I have another pie that I have, or a chart. I said, these are testosterone levels. They're old levels when you get old like me. They are young levels when you're younger, you're not doing shit, not exercising, just eating, being yourself, being your age. Okay, they are athletic levels in which you're working out, you're younger, they're up there. They are what I call high supraphysiological levels, in which I call those guys the mutants. These are the people that are going to do things that you couldn't do when you were younger, even if you try.
Yep.
And then they are what I call the performance levels.
Yep.
And here are people that have very high levels, or they are taking steroids, and they're at the performance levels, right? This is the way I can get the best. Now, beyond that, I have another little line that says, this is the side effect levels. Okay, where do you want to be? You want to be as high as performance levels. You don't want to be above that. You don't want to be old levels. You don't want to be young levels. You want to be at performance levels.
Right.
Of course, depends what your goal is. You can be just to relax. You can be an Olympic athlete, whatever it is you decide. But those are levels. My job is to make sure that you're healthy. There's always a rumor out there that I prescribe steroids. I do not prescribe steroids. I do hormone replacement. I do health replacement.
Sure.
And what I'm doing that is, actually, I say, listen, I want you to see where you are. Okay, once you go above this level, you're not getting any effects. I mean, the receptors shut down, and people do not understand that. That pisses me off. Oh, I'm taking testosterone, I'm taking DECA, I'm taking Windsor. Well, it doesn't matter what you're taking. There's so many keys and locks that your body have that at one point in time you have to protect yourself.
Right.
And the body works to help us survive, And once you get to that point, that's what we do. That's what they do, stacking. Okay, testosterone, I cannot get any more than this testosterone. I cannot get more of that. And this funny thing that you mentioned is, Ben, the best physiologic or performance dose I ever seen in my office, going beyond this is not going to do anything for you, 600 milligrams.
I believe
Once you go above that, it doesn't matter if you take 1,000, I've seen 2,000, I've seen 4,000, I've seen 20,000. No, you get side effects, you get something that's broken down. Don't do that. 600 is the maximum amount of a dose that I can see, that I have seen on a client that have shown benefits, and I'm talking about health benefits without side effects. Now, The majority of the people with 400 to do a normal, strong, get in shape, get lean, 400 will do it.
So I think we live in a culture of instant gratification, and nobody wants to put in the long-term work. And the reality is, like, if you want to become a great athlete with a great body, it's not going to happen in a year. But because we live in this Instagram, driven society, everyone wants to post their PRs today. So I'm going to take more and more and more. And this is what I say is killing bodybuilding. I don't think bodybuilding is done anything different other than social media. Like, people need to post their PR today. So there's so much more focus with the external than there are with actually owning the process. And this is kind of part of what I've been teaching over the last couple of years is forget about what you look like right now. Think about what the long-term objective is and how can I get there without any obstacles, without any plateaus, rather than worrying about how much am I lifting today or how do I look today. That's important, but obviously if I don't attach to mastering and understanding this process, I don't stand a chance of ever achieving anything long-term and substantial.
Well, Ben, how many people are like you in the industry? Not many people.
Well,
Sorry to tell
this
you
is
that.
why I'm collaborating with you, man. So we can literally start teaching people, right? Because ultimately, 600 milligrams of testosterone. If you can't grow at that, you're doing something wrong. Like I don't I try not to say anymore that people have bad genetics. This is what I want to bring you back to is like the conversation around genetics. But I try not to say people have bad genetics because chances are, man, epigenetic expression is so powerful that there's just something you're doing wrong, or maybe you have to influence some pathway in your body to improve your ability to build muscle. But so when you say 600 milligrams, are you looking at that kind of objectively when you look at someone's blood results? Like what level are you trying to achieve in somebody's blood results?
Okay, when I look at levels, I'm very, very careful because I don't do like most people. I have seen what happens because I've seen so many clients. When I started like everywhere. You measure testosterone levels. Now, as on my practice, of course, depending on the age, the amount, route, all that things, okay, and goals. I look at LH, FSH if you're a younger kid because I have those. I look at total and free testosterone. I look at SHBG, but no, I gotta lower it, but to make sure that hey, this is your baseline. I want it at that baseline. I don't want you dropping this. I look at insulin levels. I look at something called glycomark. And if you don't know, I'll show you what that is in a second. I also look at PSA, free PSA, because PSA is worthless. I look at vitamin D levels. I look at boron levels because people have no idea what that is. I look at vitamin A levels. I look at liver enzymes. I look at hemoglobin A1C. I look at so many things. I look at lead and mercury. For example, this year, and I don't know if you know this, Ben, the Swiss is going to be about the upper body, okay, how to fix it, how to treat it, how to do things. Well, my topic is going to be what lowers testosterone, why are we having lower levels of testosterone, or what affects testosterone. Well, most people don't know what boron is, and I know that you guys, I don't know if you remember the supplements, boron increases this or increases that. Actually, boron is a cool mineral that people are not aware of it. It doesn't work like they say, but without boron, your magnesium levels are compromised. Okay? It's funny. Your vitamin D is compromised. So calcium is compromised. So if boron is not detected, you can have occult fractures, or I'm the guy that hits my bones and they hurt really bad. That might be boron, actually. And people have no idea. Also, mercury, lead, I see that a lot. Also, I see, what I call xenoestrogen. Another thing is, are you taking injections? Are you taking oral? What are you taking? For example, we measure estradiol. And I know, all the guys, I got to measure my estrogen levels, right? Well, they measure estradiol. Well, estradiol is just one estrogen. There's estradiol, right. There's estrone, there's estriol, and there's 4, 2, and 16, all these other estrogens. Actually, there's 16 estrogens, I think. And when you check certain ones, for example, injections specifically not only affect estradiol, but affect estrone. For example, I have guys that the estradiol is 70, and I go, that is perfect. But then the estrone comes back, and it's so high that I say, oh, shit, that's what you have in side effects. I got to do something. Okay? And the orals don't do that. So there are things, the oral, testosterone bioidentical don't do that. So I got to look at all these things before I make a decision. Now, Again, my decision is based on history. Now, I want to bring something to you. The people that write the books, the people that give conference, the people that are taking steroids, winning the gold medal, training every day because they take drugs, but they don't tell that to people. I train every day. I found out that the best athlete, no drugs, even taking supplements, eating perfect, can only work out maybe 4, maximum of 5 days a week.
I agree.
You cannot work out every freaking day. Now, we're not taking into consideration because what you do on the gym is 1 hour. What happens to the other 23 hours? Are you sleeping? Are you screwing around? Are you freaking drinking? All these other things that influence your training. They don't look at anything like that. I work out. This guy on the internet, he looks so good. He works out every day. Well, is he working? Does he has a job? Does he have kids? That really pisses me off. But
sure. And what is he taking, right? Like, what is he taking
absolutely.
that you don't know about? Yeah, exactly. And how much?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was one of the realizations that I had. Since obviously I've been coaching a lot of people over the last couple of years, and you have these guys who are I mean, they look good. They're lean. They're small but muscular, and they're taking more drugs than I ever took in my entire career, and it blows my mind. But they have huge followings online. They're teaching people how to exercise, and I think it's negligent, man. Because these guys, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't call. I'd be a hypocrite to say I never did it, but they're not. They have nothing of value to say other than, oh, guys, you need to just work hard. You need to just work hard, and that's just the worst advice you can give someone who it doesn't do things right. Like working hard, running in the wrong direction doesn't make any sense. But yet you have these guys who are misguiding all the masses of people because they just take so many steroids. So I love the idea of guiding people down the road of teaching them what they're going to need to do this naturally. So speaking, you said what lowers testosterone? So getting a little bit deeper into that conversation. Obviously, low boron is one. What else do we have? Well,
I'm going to talk. There's two things here. We can talk about blood tests. And we can talk about daily life. The daily life, sleeping, overtraining, bad relationships, okay, that will lower your testosterone levels. And the worst one is stress. And who doesn't have stress, right? Yep. Now, diet makes a huge difference, especially low-fat diets, okay, low cholesterol diets, drugs. I'm not talking about steroids. I'm talking about statins, yep. things like that are crazy. Now, in the blood, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D, boron have shown, aspartate, okay, low levels have shown to decrease that. Riboflavin has shown to decrease levels. So, and actually, believe it or not, insulin helps you with testosterone levels, believe it or not. Yep. I mean, it's just how you manipulate those things. So I have to look at, actually, you know what, believe it or not, Ben, I even look at location. And why location or environment? Because if you live, like I live in Ohio, it's freaking shitty. The sunlight is freaking... By 4 o'clock, you're in the dark, yep. And that's going to affect you. That lowers your vitamin D, then your levels go down. Actually, this is really cool. They follow 4 subjects, okay? And they put a catheter in them, and they say, we're going to measure testosterone levels continuously, okay? Not one time, not 2 times, over 16 times. Actually, I think it was 24 times during the day. And if they're watching a football game and their football team wins, the testosterone levels spike. Right. Now, if their football team lost, they go down. If they watch somebody naked that they think is hot, testosterone levels goes up. But okay, if your wife is yelling at you, go do the laundry, go do this, testosterone levels go down. So that is a situational component to testosterone levels. So first question is, are we truly getting testosterone levels at 8 in the morning? Like the research shows you that, oh yeah, if I get at 8 o'clock, that's the best time. Well, you know what? That is not the best time. And I'm going to go against every paper. Yes, every paper says that the best time to measure your testosterone levels is in the morning. It's the best indicator of your really levels. Well, the only problem is when I'm freaking sleeping, I'm not being stressed. I'm sleeping. My levels are recovering. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. My levels are going to be the highest. I don't want to know when my levels are the highest. Do you want to know when your levels are the highest? You want to know when they're the lowest? The lowest. I want to know when absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I tell people, my patient, the doctor told me that I need to check in the morning to see. Hell no. I might want to check it out when you get off work at 4 o'clock. That's when you're freaking stressed. That's when you're depressed. Cortisol levels are high. Your testosterone levels are low. And then, now it was 600 in the morning, but now it's 320. So that means that your levels should be around 600. Right. That's how I use the normal levels or the morning levels. I do usually get 3 or 4 levels. I will do 2 morning ones, 2 afternoon ones, because that give me an idea where they are going to be. And I have great success because I will bring the levels to those levels that are optimal.
And this podcast is brought to you by ATP Labs. I want to give you guys an opportunity to get one of ATP Labs' premier products. It's called IGF. And the reason it's called IGF is there's been some research that suggested optimizing your brain function can actually help increase IGF secretion when you're training. So this product is a really great pre-workout focus product. It's not going to be a tremendously stimulating product, but it's going to really, really help with focus. So this is the type of product I like to take maybe later in the day when I'm training. And I know that I'm going to have to sleep a little bit later, or I'll combine it with a cup of coffee or something like that before I do my workout, because it's loaded with my favorite ingredient, which is alpha GPC. And I hope you guys enjoy. You can use code BPAK, B-P-A-K, on atplabs.com, ATP-LAB, or LABS.com. Both of those will work. So, Dr. Serrano, can you talk a little bit about the known mechanisms of why this is happening? So, if people are not sleeping, people are overtraining, people are exposed to stress. My demographic wants to start understanding, like, what is the internal mechanism making this happen? And is there something you can talk about?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, first thing that I need to look about is computers, iPads, and things like that. And they make a difference because, of course, you are like looking at the thing on the screen, and that's light that affects your melatonin levels. Melatonin levels has a mild relation to testosterone levels, number one. So if you're not sleeping, your testosterone levels are down, not because you're not sleeping, it's because there's a stress component to it. Cortisol goes up, testosterone wants to be unbalanced. There's an imbalance, not because testosterone went down, but because cortisol went up. So that's one. Two is the brain shrinks, and I want you to hear this, Ben. The brain shrinks 40% at night.
Yep.
40%. And the reason it does that is because it wants to bring fluid, nutrients to the brain. And I'm going to open that blood-brain barrier. And I don't know how much you know about leaky gut syndrome, but we always talk about the leaky gut syndrome, letting things pass inside your body. Yes, absolutely. But we also have the blood-brain barrier. That is the most studied blood-brain barrier there. Well, the reason we had that is because the brain doesn't want shit going into your brain. It doesn't want things going out. And that is so important because what happens to your brain, actually, the nervous system affects everything else. So here you're not sleeping. Now your nervous system is not resting. That's going to affect the nerves going to your glands. Those glands are going to affect the output of hormones. So that's part of that. Now, add that to people that are not eating good, or they eat pizza, or they eat something like that before bed. They get reflux, they can't sleep. So all those things affect the output or the hormones regulations in the body. If I was going to look at everything, I would look at my pie and then I say, okay, where is it? I'm not making money. I'm fighting with my wife. My kid is sick. I got to look at everything. I cannot look at one level and say that is the best level. So do I have a straight answer for you? No, I can't, because every situation is so different from the other. And I'm going to tell you a big one. I'm going to give you an example. I had another patient that he's a young guy, and he has been my patient for many years, actually. And he said, Eric, I don't know if I'm homosexual or not, okay? And I'm going through this stress period. I want to find out myself. And I said, I'm not here to judge you. It's a decision you need to make, but the most important people in life is your parents. You need to sit down with your parents and discuss, these are my feelings. I am here as a doctor. I will support you. I might not like your decision, but I'll support you in whatever you decide, okay? And that is your choice. And that puts a stress to your life that people are not aware. Also, when you have a child that is sick, all those things flying. Like if you are changing time zones, that is one of the worst ones. Actually, I change time zones because I travel so much.
Yep.
That kills me. That has aged me, actually. I can say that. And I cannot do anything about it.
So
I got to go. Go ahead.
Is it just the cortisol and inflammation response that you're getting that's going to suppress testosterone? Is that it, or is it a whole number of
No.
It's
No. Melatonin affects it. Actually, I have a cool diagram in which you look at testosterone, what's affected. So insulin affects it, SHBG affects it, progesterone affects it, estrogen affects it. Okay, you also have thyroid. Okay, for example, this is a great example, Ben. If you're hypothyroid, right? My level is low of TSH. Well, my output of LH-FSH might go down because my body wants to protect you from going and spending energy, because the body says, shit, we are not where we want to be. Right. Let me lower your testosterone levels so you don't go out there and go hunting. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now I corrected thyroid, and all of a sudden your testosterone levels will start working better. Progesterone actually induces testosterone receptors to go up if you take the right amount. Too much, it lowers them. Pregnenolone in the brain absolutely does wonders. It makes you more alert. It makes you more relaxed. So that increases your testosterone levels. Now, another study that you're not seeing is yoga studies, like people doing meditation, they get the levels before and then they get it after, and the levels are going up. What is happening? What is happening? Because I know we're not changing hormones. Well, is it because we're relaxing? Is it because the nervous system is working better? Is it because the brain is doing it? One of the worst cases that I see on people with low levels are people with concussions. Believe it or not, testosterone is affected, thyroid is affected, growth hormone is affected. The most common one is thyroid, actually. When you have a concussion in a car, if you're a football, martial arts, I see this all the time. But those people are not aware of it. But every time you get your head knocked off, yeah, that's going to affect you.
That's really interesting. Obviously, that makes so much sense, right? Your body just goes, hey, I'm not at my best. I need to slow down what I do. I need to slow down this thyroid. So speaking about low thyroid, a lot of people are massively messed up, for lack of a better term. I could go deeper into using terminology, but I try not to preface it with other things. From over-dieting, competitive dieting, and have just disrupted metabolisms. And I don't want to throw labels on it, but disrupted metabolisms and not optimal metabolisms. Where would you start with somebody who has some type of metabolic deficiencies from extended periods of competitive dieting or just being an excessive period of hypocaloric dieting?
Okay, Ben, you're going to kill me here again. Okay, on the past, I've been a doctor for 29 years, okay? On the past 15 years, the people with the fastest growing population of ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, inflammation of the abdomen, all those things is the bodybuilders.
For sure.
And you know what the biggest culprit is? Protein shakes. And I make money selling protein shakes.
Yep.
But, I don't sell protein shakes to children. I said, I don't want your protein shakes. Why? Because God created proteins plus fats. You require fats to slow down the digestive system so you can actually digest that protein correctly so it doesn't create allergies or issues later on.
Right.
So if I was going to say one of the biggest issues is hypocaloric, but not because they're low caloric, it's because what they do to make it low caloric. I'm going to have a shake now, I'm going to have a shake at lunch, and then I'm going to have a meal. No, that's not the correct way to do a hypocaloric diet. Hypocaloric diet, yes, I will have a protein shake here and there, maximum twice a week, maybe super max 3 times a week. After that, no way I will let you have more protein shakes than that. I will switch them, like to change the source of the protein shake or change to free-form aminos for sure. But I will not allow more than 3 times a week, okay? Now, hypocaloric is absolutely not bad. It's how you manipulate it. And let me give you the best sample. During the winter times, when we didn't have supermarkets, the food was not out there like we want it now. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can go buy 10 pounds of food. Well, there were times of hypocaloric intake in which our body lost fat, went through a period of repair, went through a period of rest. And there's something called motor migratory complex, MMC. That's in your intestines, okay? And this is another huge mistake that people are going to call you and say that I'm full of shit. But of course, I see the patient, so I don't care what they say. Okay, I have a diet. I eat 7 days during the day, or I eat 6 times a day. Okay, good for you. But what's the body meant to do that? Absolutely no freaking way. Right. We have a circadian rhythm in which it works every 4 hours. It's crazy. The liver contracts almost every 4 hours. The MMC works every 4 hours. So here is a contraction mechanism that is superimposed to our time in which we contract every 4 hours. Now we eat a snack in between those 4 hours. Those contractions, oh shit, the water cannot go at the same time. We need to make changes. No, you don't want to eat 6 times. That never happened in nature. It's bullcrap. Unless you're a freaking, we have the vegetarians out there, and I hate vegetarians. Or look at the cow, or look at the gorilla. Well, they graze all day. Do they know that? All day, what do they do all day? Eat, walk. Yep. I'm going to eat. Well, if you're a vegetarian and you want to do it that way, go for it. That's good for you, not for me. So, I mean, that is so important. Now, there are ketogenic diets, there are intermittent diets, there are high carbohydrate diet, there's low caloric diets. I have no idea which diet I'm going to use with you, but the best diet is the one that you're not on. And the best workout is the workout that you're not on. And the reason is because we created changes, okay? Now, I see, if I had to say which one is the healthiest possible diet for health issues, It depends on disease state. Do you have diabetes? Do you have protein enterocolitis? Do you have ICD? Do you have these things? Where do you live? Race, age, sex, genetics, economics, goals. I look at all those things so I can decide what diet it is. Now, is the bodybuilding diet the best? Absolutely. They are the most atrocious diet. You can look good for 6 weeks. After that, don't keep doing it. Take a break. I will say this. We talk about, like fast food. Well, fast foods are okay. Have 1 or 2 in the week if you wish to, but not every freaking day. Make sure that you have the reserve that you can able to handle. When those things come in, you're able to handle it. Now, can one meal affect you tremendously? Absolutely. The literature says 1 meal can make a massive difference. Well, make sure that you have 99 good meals, 1 bad meal. 50 bad meals? No. 50 good meals, 2 bad meals? Yes. And change. Now, when people want to lose weight, my best advice is, I do not believe on calories, Ben. Calories for me are just a way of measuring something, but not the end of all. Okay. For example, if you consume 100 calories of Lucky Charms, that's not the same as 100 calories of broccoli. You can't compare.
Let's talk about that. Perfect. Let's talk about that because there's so many people in the industry right now that are misguided and following these diets, exclusively based on macros. And there's so much research now that shows, I eat a banana and you eat a banana. A banana is not the same thing as it is to me as it is to you, right? So, talk a little bit about that. Yeah, talk about that.
Okay. There's a study that was done recently, and I know which one you're referring to, in which they have like 400,000 of patients, actually, I think. And they give them a cookie, and they give them a banana, and they give them a bread. And they measure insulin levels, they measure glucose levels, what's happening. And in some people, the cookie raises sugars tremendously. In another guys, nothing happened. And this is what is so cool. The body is so amazing. And that's why you have to experiment with yourself, not with what the other guy tells you. Yeah, learn what he told you, but experiment. Okay, this is in that study, and I know which study you're referring to, we have so many different, people are so different. Of course we're different. What happens is, and they never look into this, is, okay, is guy A, B, and C, does guy A have a magnesium deficiency? Does guy B has a boron deficiency? Does guy C have low thyroid? They did not measure that. You see what I'm saying? Sure. They just gave them food, and we're going to measure insulin levels. So there's so many cofactors out there that you have to be absolutely careful. Let me correct what needs to be corrected. Let me fix the weaknesses first, so then I can make you stronger. So when I have a client that the sugars go up, for example, remember I was talking about a marker called Glycomark?
Yep.
Glycomark is what measures your stored insulin. It said, okay, I eat a food, my levels go to 500. That means that my glycomark is really low. I don't have enough store of my insulin to be able to use the carbohydrates I'm eating at once. So that means, I got to be aware of that. I got to make changes in my diet. I cannot have carbohydrates like that. Can I have little dosages of carbohydrates? Maybe. I do not know, because I need to fix magnesium. I'm going to have to fix boron. So you have to be absolutely very careful how you're doing things. The best course ever done in diabetes is a guy named Brian Walsh. Are you familiar with him?
I'm not.
Okay. He has a website that actually Brian is a genius. He's a naturopathic doctor, and I make fun of Brian, but his website is absolutely amazing. You got to look it up. And the best ever, I think, documented, presented, with research, not research, with pictures, with lectures, is that course, Brian Walsh. And the diabetes course is amazing. The detox course is amazing. He's very didactic and he has a lot of science behind it. But if you really, really want to know, that is the course. There's I have gone to universities, I have gone to IFM, I have gone to AGMs. You mention it, you can tell me any lecture you want to, and still the most powerful lectures are from this kid. Now, Brian, there's another guy named Marlo Di Pasquale. Those two guys, brain-wise, are incredible. Brian, I forgot his website from the top of my head right now, but you have to take that course, because you will learn a lot of the science. How do I lower?
I'll post in the show notes and I'll get them on.
Okay, I will even tell him, and I can even text you, Ben, if you give me your number. I say, hey, Brian, this guy needs to interview you. But I want to tell you something. we always think about insulin. And Ben, I'm going to put you on the spot. Okay, God gave you how many hormones to lower your sugars?
One.
Only one. Absolutely. How many did he give you to rise your sugars? Cortisol, growth hormone, epinephrine, glycogen. Yep. Okay, why did God intended you to have only one hormone to lower your sugars, but four or maybe more that we're not aware of that increases your freaking, blood sugars? And this is what is very cool. We always say, oh, you need to keep your blood sugars low. We need to keep the intracellular blood sugars, we need to keep them down. And the only way to keep your blood sugars, the intracellular blood sugars down is either one, by using them or keeping my blood levels low. Now, if you're diabetic, should I give you insulin? Well, I want you to remember this, Ben. Which two organs, what are the two biggest organs that need insulin all the time? The muscles, okay, and the fat cells, okay? And the brain needs it, but the muscles and the fat cells need it. The other organs are always using glucose. They don't need insulin, okay? The biggest, and we talk about GLUT4, blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. The biggest receptors in the body are sodium glucose dependent transport system. Okay, that means you need sodium to transport the glucose in, but you don't need insulin. And people, oh, you need insulin. No, insulin is the brake. Glycogen is the accelerator. So we concentrate on controlling. I'm going to control insulin. How about controlling glycogen? How do I lower glycogen levels? Those people know how to lower glycogen levels. They do not know. They had never even talked about, I'm going to lower my insulin, but if glycogen is going up, what happened to my blood sugar? They go up. Insulin has to go up. It has to put it inside the cell. Now, the cell only has a certain amount of limit of of sugar, cannot take any more sugar that it can use. So what happens when they start taking that sugar? That's when damage starts happening to the cell. That's what happens when your kidney gets affected. That's what happens when your vision starts getting affected, because I'm trying to push as much glucose into the cell. So the answer to diabetes is pulling the sugar into the cell? No. The sugars are to be controlled by leveraging both the intracellular and the extracellular. Now, I need to control the extracellular a lot, but I need to control the intracellular. Now, to control my intracellular, I got to control cortisol. I got to control glycogen. I got to control not only insulin. I got to control growth hormone. That's why you want your sugars to spike at certain times, and the rest of the time you want your sugars down. Now, if you're a diabetic or you're a guy with high sugar, do you want to be using insulin? No. You want to get rid of the insulin, meaning exercising, and yes, you might need a low carbohydrate diet. So what I'm trying to teach you is, do I need insulin to grow? Yes. Do we need insulin to survive? Yes. But we also need glycogen, and we have 4 to 5 hormones that battle insulin. Why? Because the body is really, really smart. Does not want to put all the sugar inside the cell. Wants to keep my blood glucose at certain levels. Now, I want to ask you a question, Ben, also. Which cell in your body does not use glucose at all? Do you know?
What cell in my body does not use glucose at all?
Does not use glucose.
Maybe, I was going to say nervous system, but that
Oh, excuse me. No. Excuse me. Wrong question. Which cell uses glucose all the time? Red blood cells.
Right. Yep.
Red blood cells. Yep. They do not have mitochondria, so they depend on glucose. And where is it? In the blood, red blood cells. So you got to be very careful. Yes, my levels have to be low. My lowest, okay, I'm going to tell you lowest levels in my office. The lowest levels documented in my office of glucose, where I want you to sit down, 21. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to tell me, oh my God, that is low. No, this girl at 21, normal. No side effects, no dizzy, no nothing. Okay, lowest heart rate on my office, 24.
Wow.
Was this guy sick? Was this guy? No, absolutely normal. The guy is a triathlete that when he went to get the colonoscopy, you get to put to sleep, right? Let me put the guy to knocking out. Well, here they're going to intubate him. They're going to do all these things. They're going to shock him because they put him to sleep. His heart rate is usually 21, 22. Well, he went down to 14.
Wow.
Why? Because he was asleep. He was just, hey, I'm relaxed. I don't need to be moving.
Right.
Well, they wanted to intubate, shock him. I said, no, just slap him on the face and he will come back up. And they slapped him on the face. He went to 28. And I said, no, that is his normal levels. So they're aware that the next time they put him to sleep, 14, 16, 18. Once they woken up, 24, 26. That's the guy's normal level. So I have seen all the extremes. And you know what? I want you to, a wise man learns by the mistake of others. A smart man learns by his own mistakes. And when you and I were in our 20s and 30s, we were always very smart. Oh, I'm going to learn by myself.
Sure.
Well, no. As I get older, I'm 55 now, I want to learn by the mistakes of others. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I do not want to do that anymore. So that's what I look at. That's what I can also see in patients. That's what I have to see them in person. I know there's a lot of gurus out there on the internet. Oh, I'm a clinician. I call them, how many patients do you see a day? Oh, I don't see any. I just treat the labs. I talk to them on the phone. Absolutely bullshit. And Ben, as a fact, when you have somebody that you see, you do get better results than a person on the internet. I see the results,
sure,
and they're magnificent. But when you have somebody that have issues, you have to be face to face. That's why I don't like to do phone calls. That's why I don't like to do FaceTime. Hey, I got to do it face to face.
Right. So I love that you're challenging this conversation around insulin use and carbohydrate manipulation. I think there's so much to be learned there because, the trend right now, it seems to be in the fitness industry, is everybody's using ketogenic dieting. Before we go on to the ketogenic dieting conversation, can we talk a little bit more about this sodium glucose dependent transport and receptor? Because I think that could be a potential. I just want people, the people who are at home, to have an easier way of understanding what they should be doing to help manipulate their intracellular insulin levels. As obviously exercise is one thing, but obviously they don't have access to the data and the experience that you do to know how and when to manipulate it. Is there anything you can give them as a takeaway to say, hey, here's an idea of how other than looking at your blood on a weekly basis, what your body's actually doing?
Okay, there's a new system that came out. It's a small patch, Ben. It's a patch that you put. It's like a patch that you put on your arm or your leg, and it measures your sugars every 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And it does it over 14 days. I have it in my office, and I do that with a lot of patients. It's really cool. It actually tells me what your sugars are doing with either the banana or a cookie or a beefsteak or whatever. And I want to say this: fats do not increase your sugars. Fats maintain the blood sugar that you are. So if your blood sugars are low and you eat a lot of fat, your blood sugars stay low. They just stay low at that number. If your blood sugars are 400 and you eat it with fat, your 400 sugars are going to stay higher in your blood forever, okay?
Right.
That's how fat works. Now, let's talk about receptors because you asked me specifically about receptors. And I hope people do not get angry too about, what we discussed in this. There's SGLT1 and there's SGLT2. And the reason we're so familiar with this now is because there are drugs that block those receptors. And by blocking that receptor in the kidneys, they make you pee or urinate sugar, okay? And that's SGL2, okay? SGL2 is in your kidneys. SGLT1 is in your gut or your intestines. The majority of the sugar absorbed in your intestines is through SGLT1, okay? Sodium glucose transport 1. Now, we have GLUT1, GLUT2, GLUT3, GLUT4, GLUT5, GLUT6, GLUT7. We have up to 12 GLUTs, okay?
Yep.
Now, there's one that people do not talk about. I'm going to teach it to you today, GLUT7. Do you know what that one is?
I don't.
In the endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum is where you make proteins inside the cell. That's when you build the buildings, okay? And you require a specific receptor there. Now, there's GLUT1, there's GLUT2, and there's GLUT3. Those are on the brain. Those are on the red blood cells. Some on the kidneys, some on the pancreas, okay? So it depends on the place that they're needed. Now, GLUT4, that is the one that is well known by you guys. GLUT4 is the one that I eat. Insulin induces the proteins to make more GLUT4, so I accept the glucose to come inside the cells. Well, it is great, but you require insulin to work on that. But the other ones don't require insulin. So how can we manipulate our glucose level without using insulin. Well, I do not know what levels are necessary to, what I would say, release insulin. Are there 5? Are there 10? Are there 15 grams? Are there 40 grams? Everybody is different. I think spikes in insulin with different glucose. Now, the best way to do this, and actually what I will do is using that patch that I was talking about, and that's what I'm doing right now. And actually, Ben, if you invite me again as a guest, I would say, oh, Ben, I have 30 people that were using the patch. We were eating this way, and we found out that the average person requires 30 grams to induce a high spike. Or, it may be 20 grams. It might be 15 grams. I do not know the answer yet.
What's that patch called, Dr. Serrano?
It's called Libre, like Lucha Libre, Libre. Okay. It's a little thing that goes. It has a little needle. Okay, it's like a hair cell needle. Yep. You put it on your arm or whatever, and it's awesome. I mean, you pay I don't know how many doctors has it, but you pay your doctor maybe $50. You keep it on for 15 days. You go back to the doctor downloads the record, and he tells you the amount of blood sugar, what happens with your meals, what happens when you're sleeping. It is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay? And I will send you the website when we're done. I'll send it to Ben.
Thank you.
And do I know the answer to that question? Not yet. About the receptors. Okay. The receptors are always going in insulin. Always glucose without the need of insulin. So do we need insulin to make the organs survive? No. Now, fat and muscles are absolutely dependent on insulin. That's why we need it. So when do we really want to have carbohydrates? Either we do it before or we do it after we work out. Those are the best optimal times. Now, if I have issues sleeping, I might let you have some carbohydrates before, because there's also serotonin induced, all this other bullshit that happens in your body. Yep. But if you really, really want to manipulate your carbohydrates, do it before and after workouts, because that is the most optimal time. First of all, GLUT4s, workouts make you make more GLUT4s. Now, berberine is an herb that makes you make more GLUT4s. Yep. It's awesome. Okay, metformin is the most common used drug for a lot of bodybuilders. It is an excellent drug for you to lose weight. I will not use it all the time. It's a mitochondria toxin. Let me repeat that, and that's another one here. Metformin is a mitochondria toxin. You got to be careful with. You gotta be careful with it. No. Use it. Go ahead, Ben.
This is kind of an off-topic question, but what's the mechanism of that? Because I've heard conflicting theories, and I've done some research to try to find how it actually works, but everyone seems to say they actually don't know how it works, but they know it reduces blood sugar. Do you have an idea?
Okay, first of all, yes, I love this question, Ben. Okay, they have looked at the mechanism of metformin, how do it lower sugars? And I know you've seen all kind of ways. Or it makes the insulin better release, it makes the pancreas even make more, or it makes the it does lowers glycogen levels, by the way, guys out there. Yes, I will use metformin to manipulate glycogen levels, and that's the way that it works, actually. That's the true way. But the real way that absolutely metformin works, you're going to sit down, Ben, is through the microbiome. It absolutely changes the microbiome. And Benny, I'm going to send you the study. I have looked at metformin so much that I think I have a PhD on metformin. Because why? Everybody in my office, metformin. I was the guy, metformin. Anti-aging, metformin. And I say, and then when I sat down, how does this really truly works? Well, the PDI, what they put with the drug, they don't even know. They have no idea.
Right, exactly.
Okay? Yep. And then when I did the study, a paper came out in 2014. Okay, how does metformin truly works? And they look at everything, hormones, glycogen, everything. And they say, shit, nothing is changing. And when they look at the microbiome, they could predict how metformin was going to lower your blood sugar. It was crazy. It is awesome. And I had the paper.
So is it changing your ratios of which type of bacteria?
That I do not remember because I read it a while ago. Okay. But I'll send you the paper. Wonderful. And we can discuss it on the radio if you want to. But it's amazing. It's just crazy. And I didn't know that. I had no idea that's what's happening. But after doing it for so long, because the biggest side effect of metformin, which one is it, Ben? It's the shits, diarrhea.
Oh,
Think about it. Yeah, it's a belly upset, bloated, or diarrhea, or constipation in some people. But why was it doing that? Was it because it increases serotonin levels, it makes you poop more? No, it's because it messes with the microbiome, and by changing the microbiome, now, does it induces beneficial microbiome changes in some people? Absolutely, that's how it works. Now, can it induce what I will call non-beneficial changes in the microbiome in certain people? Yes, absolutely. So there's two types of people on metformin. The people that are going to respond well and the people that are not going to respond well. And the best example was that of PCOS. I have people and polycystic ovary syndrome. I have people that come with polycystic ovary syndrome, and metformin is a great drug for that. And I'm thinking, okay, how does metformin work with PCOS but doesn't work with somebody else? Well, and I looked at the stool analysis. It was pretty cool. On people with PCOS, the metformin changes the microbiome ratios. It was awesome. And those people will respond. Now, there's a certain percent of the PCOS people that do not respond to metformin, and it messes with the microbiome. This is so cool. You're ahead of everybody now. You know this. I'm just telling you right now, it's amazing. Amazing.
I love it. So I love that you're getting into the microbiome conversation, and I definitely want to go down that route another time because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But that's a whole. I mean, I'm so interested and intrigued with the fact that, getting back to the conversation about how a banana is not a banana. Well, it has to start in the microbiome, right? If we have different ratios, our bodies are using differently. Yeah,
absolutely. How can you tell? Okay, if you give a banana. And I'm going to be racist here because I'm Puerto Rican, and my grandfather was black. If you give a banana to an African person and you give a banana to a Japanese and you give a banana to a Puerto Rican, do you think it's going to do the freaking same? Absolutely not. Our DNA is 99% identical. Ben, 99.9% identical. Okay? Where's the other freaking DNA? Okay, I want to put you on the spot again here, Benny. Okay, if you have a grape, a dog, and a human, which one has more genes? Do you know?
A grape, a dog, and a human?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm guessing it's going to be the outlier. I honestly don't know, but is it the grape?
Absolutely. The grape have 95,000 genes. The dog has 25,000 something. Now, as we get more advanced, the humans are 22,554. Now they're coming out with more, but that's how the difference. Why? Because there's 300,000 genes on the microbiome changing those 22,000. Wow. The dog has microbacteria on it. That's why you don't need that many genes, because the bacterium is making massive changes on your genes. It is awesome. We are so behind on the science of microbiome. I get and I read at least 4 papers a day, every single day, maybe more. Okay, I have a group of people, I have a group of emailers that I share, and Trevor is part of that, in which I share emails constantly. Ed Cohen, Donnie Thompson, Rick Collins, really famous people on this email, that we share experience, okay? And the questions, the decisions that we make, when I think I know something, I do not know shit. This guy tells me, Eric, you're wrong. This is what's happening. Another person that you need to invite to your forum is a guy named Neil Rozier. Have you ever heard of him?
I haven't.
Okay. I know that you heard of the experts on hormones and the expert on this or the expert on that. Yeah. The biggest expert on the world when it comes to hormone treatment is a guy named Neil Rozier. Rouizer. The reason people don't know about him is because he doesn't care about bodybuilders. He cares about everyday people. That guy will give you a humongous, incredible following in your radio station.
Wonderful.
Okay, that guy, and there's another lady named Dr. Chanders. She is the expert on mitochondria. You asked me a question on mitochondria. Ben, I'm going to send them emails. I'm going to say, listen to Chanders, listen to Rozier. I'm going to apologize. I have Ben here. Ben wants to interview you guys. Ben is awesome. Neil doesn't like to be interviewed because, he said, I don't want to deal with stupidity sometimes, but I'm going to convince him. I am telling you, I'm going to send them an email and say, these are the 3 people that you need to interview with one condition, that you let me know when they're going to be on the podcast so I can listen to them when they talk.
I've been studying Dr. Thierry Hertog a little bit. Are you familiar with him?
Yes, I'm very familiar with Thierry Hertog.
Yeah, so he seems like he's definitely cutting edge with a lot of the hormone
Yes,
aspects.
absolutely. But this is the problem. Ben. Okay? let's suppose what is your biggest hobby to do? What's your hobby?
Read, research.
Okay, research. Okay, my biggest hobby is research also, my kids and my dogs, okay?
Exactly, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if I have a car, right, and this car is a 2018 Rolls-Royce, with the best of the best speakers, the best freaking spark plugs, the best engine, all right?
Yep.
And the testosterone is the engine, and the cortisol is the spark plugs, and the thyroid is the engine itself. But you put shit on the gas tank, what happens to you?
You're not going to perform. Everything's
Absolutely.
Going to be...
I do not care about hormones if your nutrition is not up to par.
I love it.
Fixing those cofactors. Listen, I have people that have optimal levels. I mean, you look at each hormone, they're beautiful. And most of them are women. They come to see me. Or I'm taking pellets. Or I'm going to this guy. And my hormones are perfect. How do you feel? I feel like shit.
Right.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
That's
I said,
awesome,
how's your diet? Oh, I eat perfect. What's your diet? Oh, I eat 6 meals a day. I have 2 protein shakes. I said, oh my God, your diet sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
So the engine, it has all the components, but the nutrition, the gas is not there. You cannot absolutely fix anybody if you do not fix the nutrition component to it. And another one that I'm going to add to that, faith. Faith is an unbelievable healer. I don't know, is it by praying? I don't know if it's because of your thoughts. I don't know if it's a support. I have seen people that I think I cannot do anything else. And I'm just saying, let's talk about faith. And they incorporate that into their daily living. The amount of benefit is beyond comprehension. God is amazing, and I'm telling you. But I have seen it all. But like I said, I'm going to let you interview these people. I'm going to let you find out more because it's amazing. And the microbiome, I can't wait for you and I to talk about that because it's going to be a whole new. It's going to be awesome.
I love it. So tell this is we can't. I think it'd be a shame to walk away from this conversation without asking about, well, what is the optimal diet, right? So you're saying, okay, you need to improve your diet. We know that the bodybuilding diet is shit, and I tell everybody to get off of 6 meals a day as soon as possible because there needs to be times when you're hungry. And you talked about the cycles of the liver, which I'm not even very familiar with. I'm aware of it, but I wouldn't know how to influence it. So can you talk about what does the ideal diet look like if there is such a thing?
If there's such a thing, and I don't think there is, first of all, I wouldn't eat more than 4 times a day. That's the first one.
Perfect.
2.
Even for bodybuilders? So I know the 6 times a day thing started with bodybuilders, right? Like, oh, you got to be anabolic. Right.
Oh, well, because you're taking drugs. Of course I got to eat 6 times a day.
Right.
I can do it. No. I competed in the 90s, and I did amazingly well. I don't take any hormones except DHEA.
Yep.
I don't take any other hormones. And I'm in I'm in decent shape. I can run. I can throw a ball. I can catch a dog when he's attacking me. That's for me is my measuring daily living, what I can do. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's insane. The perfect diet is dependent on your environment and what's happening around you and what your goals are. Now, if I have to, I'm going to be specific because you're putting me on the spot here. If I have to choose ratios, I will go at least 40, 30, 40%. and the 40, I will change proteins. I will go 40 and 30, the proteins and fats and carbohydrates, 30%. But I want to say this to everybody that is listening. Carbohydrate intake is activity dependent.
Yes.
If you sit on the freaking couch and you don't do shit, don't be munching on chips. Oh, no. Take a piece of butter and bite it, and that'll be better because that's what you're burning when you're sitting on the couch. And the body will burn what you teach it to burn. If you eat a high carbohydrate diet, the body will burn carbohydrates. If you eat a fat diet, the body will burn fat. If you eat a high protein diet, listen to me, your body will burn proteins as fuel.
Yep.
Yes, it's very hard, but it will do it. That's why you have to constantly change. So the perfect diet is the one that you're not on. Just remember that.
Beautiful. I love that. So one last question. One piece of advice that you've received that's changed your life.
Wow, man, Ben, shit. That's the hardest question they ever asked me. If one piece of advice...
Okay, we'll flip it around on you then. One piece of advice you can give to our listeners that would change their life.
I'm gonna say this. My dad told me this every morning when he got up. Pray. He would say, $1 in your pocket and the Bible in your hand. And the reason I say that, if you have money and you have wisdom together, you can go far.
I love it. Dr. Serrano, I tell you what, that was the most informative conversation I've ever had. And I know you're a busy man, but I'd love to have you back on to go deep on gut health and inflammation and mitochondria and all those things. So I'm going to hold your feet to the fire and commit you to that.
Wait a second. I'm going to send you an email right now to you and Luis. I'm going to send an email to Channels, to Rozier, all those guys. Hey, Brian, this guy is awesome. And this is the first, by the way, this is the second podcast I've done. I never do them because I say I don't want to be part of anything. But I know how you are, so I agreed to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. Tell Luis, Viva Mexico, by the way. So I'm going to send you the email right now with those people, talking to them so you can communicate with them and you let me know.
Dr. Serrano, I'm so grateful for you. That was literally amazing. I'm going to go back and listen to it again myself right now and take some more notes because there's at least 15 or 20 things in there that I need to learn and brush up on. So I'm grateful for you, and so are my listeners. So thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye, Benny. Bye-bye.
Have a great one.